Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Are you tired of those puny swords that only go poke? Does your staff feel more like a glorified pool noodle? Well, fret no more, tarnished travelers, because tonight we're bringing back the big blue boomstick. That's right, folks. It's the Dark Moon Greatsword build. We're talking moon magic and enough intelligence to make Ronnie blush. So grab your pointy hat, dust off your robe, and get ready to unleash some serious moonlight mayhem. All right, guys, before we get into it, let's go ahead and talk about the sponsor. Go ahead and click the link in the description below to go to aora.com for all your Elden Ring needs. Use code NIM at checkout, N-I-M. Okay, so now we're going to talk about stats. So our primary stat is, of course, going to be our intelligence. In our intelligence, this is key for maximizing the Dark Moon Greatsword's damage and also the sorcery scaling. So our secondary stats, we're going to do Vigor. 60 is the hard cap. Is pretty much the max that you really need. You really don't need any more than 60 Vigor for health. But if you don't plan on getting hit, then you don't need any Vigor. So if you don't plan on getting hit, don't worry about it. But, of course, accidents happen. You miss a dodge, all that stuff. So probably going to get hit. So, 60 is recommended. And then your secondary, and then another secondary stat is going to be mind. So we need to increase our mind to increase the FP pool for casting more spells. So let's move on to weapons. So weapons, of course, is going to be the Dark Moon Greatsword, the star of the show. This weapon scales fantastically with intelligence and boosts a unique weapon skill that fires crescent moon waves. The Carrion Regal Scepter. A great catalyst for casting sorceries alongside the Dark Moon Greatsword. That's what we use it for. Then armor. There are many different armor types that you can use for this gear. You can use like the Spellblade sets for a huge magic boost, or you can use Randy's hat to boost the full moon spell. But what I like to use is I like to use the gear that I like, of course. I'm not trying to really max out my damage crazy because, of course, like this build does insane amount of damage. So you don't need to max this one out like min-max this build. So I just like to use stuff that's fun, funny. You want to use, enough to where you could just do a medium roll, medium armor. That's really all you need. So you don't need anything. If you do too light, you might die easily. You need a little bit of buffs, Go ahead and move on to talismans now. So our talisman is, we got the Godfry icon. We have the Crescent Shield talisman. We have the Dagger talisman. And we have the Shard of Alexander. You could also use another one like the Scorpion Magic talisman. You use that one, of course. But I don't like to use it. The reason why is because it does... it just hurts your defense. So, take more damage. So I don't really like to take more damage when I get hit because, I'm not that good to do a no-hit challenge. So I like to, be protected really good. And these are the ones that I like to use. And we're going to move on to our flask. Our flask is the one I use, is the Stone Bard crack tier and the magic crack tier. You could also use the stamina tier also, but so if you want to use the stamina one, I would say switch out the Stone Bard crack tier for that one, but you want to keep your magic crack tier because it just does insane amount of damage, and that's where you get a lot of damage from too. So that's what you want to use. All right, so our spells that we're going to use is we're going to use the Terra Magica to buff our magic damage. Then we're going to use the Renal's Full Moon to give them the frost damage. Then we're going to use this for just for like a defense kind of mechanism thing. I don't really know exactly why, but you could just use it and it just hurts them. Those are the three main spells that we use mostly. You can also use the Golden Vow incantation. It does help. I just don't like to sit there and just buff for 10 minutes before every single fight when already the fight is going to end very quickly. Because of the buffs and the spells and the Dark Moon Greatsword, it's not going to last long anyways, so it's just not worth using all this crazy buffs. It takes a while. You have to use the seal. You have to, there's too much into it. So this is just, I like to keep it simple and easy, so you don't have to do much buffs, and that's about it.